Hello, my name is Karla Auzenne. I am a middle school science specialist with the Houston Independent School District in the Secondary Science Curriculum Department. Welcome to HISD at Home TV. Today, we will explore the middle school science project-based learning plans for the week of May 11th, 2020. These plans can also be found on the HISD at Home TV website. The learning target for this week is I can describe biotic and abiotic parts of an ecosystem in which organisms interact. There are 3 guiding questions for this week's work. How do abiotic organisms in an ecosystem interact with other biotic factors? How do biotic organisms interact with abiotic factors in the environment? How do living things interact within the ecosystem? Your project. You will create an abiotic and biotic factors hanging mobile to describe the various parts of an ecosystem in which organisms interact. Here is a picture of what your project could look like. The must-haves. Your first level must contain abiotic, description, and 5 illustrated examples. Your second level must be biotic, containing description and 5 illustrated examples. And your third level must contain interactions between the abiotic and biotic examples. Let's review the rubric. The rubric is provided for students to create quality student work. The rubric contains the must-haves for your project. As you can see, 4 is exceeding the standard and 1 is beginning with the standard. On Monday and Tuesday, you will research the abiotic and biotic factors at credible websites and/or in your 6th grade science textbook. Listed below are 2 recommended links to reference while you do your research. Use your computer or cell phone to access the websites. While you are viewing the websites, use your Cornell note-taking sheet to take notes. Here's an example of what your Cornell notes could look like. Monday and Tuesday checkpoint. Make sure you take notes and complete the graphic organizer as you conduct your research. The graphic organizer is the Cornell Notes graphic organizer that you saw previously. If you would like to create another graphic organizer to capture your notes, please feel free to do so. The main idea for Monday and Tuesday is that you are able to capture information from your research that you can utilize for your project. Wednesday. Wednesday is a scavenger hunt. On Wednesday, you will go on a scavenger hunt and you will identify and record at least 5 abiotic factors and 5 biotic factors from your backyard. And then you're going to record the interaction of those factors. You can find more than 5 of the abiotic factors. You can find more than 5 of the biotic factors, but we want you to have at least 5 of each. And then record your findings in a T-chart. A T-chart is a tool that will help you to categorize your factors and your interactions, such as this one. Notice you have a biotic factors column, an abiotic factors column, and you have an interactions column. Make sure you have at least 5 examples in each column. On Thursday, begin creating your abiotic-biotic interactions hanging mobile. Now that you've conducted your research and gone on a scavenger hunt, begin to complete Tier 1, Level 1, and Tier 2, Level 2 of your illustrated hanging mobile. Remember, you have to have a description and you have to have 5 illustrated examples. Thursday checkpoint. Be sure to refer to the rubric to ensure that all must-haves are included in completing Tier 1 and Tier 2 of your illustrated hanging mobile. Remember, there's a scale from 4 to 1, so be sure to make sure you review the rubric in order to do quality student work. On Friday, we will finish Tier 3 of the abiotic-biotic interactions hanging mobile. Use Friday to finish Tier 3, and if you need to, go back and look at Tier 1 and 2 in order to create your interactions for your illustrations that go on Tier 3. Remember to use the rubric as you create your product, because this will make sure that you have everything that your project needs so that you can be successful. Friday checkpoint. After completing all tiers of your hanging mobile, either save it on your computer if you completed it digitally, or take a picture with your phone. After you've done that, submit your illustrated hanging mobile picture to your teacher via email, the Hub, or Teams. Let's recap. The project that the students will create this week is an illustrated hanging mobile which describes biotic and abiotic parts of an ecosystem in which organisms interact. And it could look like this. Okay, let's move on to 7th grade. The 7th grade learning target for this week is I can model the effects of human activity on groundwater and surface water in a watershed. The guiding question, how can human activity affect groundwater and surface water in a watershed? Project overview. You will build a model to show the path of pollution on groundwater and surface water in a watershed, and develop a fact sheet for the general public that will identify factors contributing to water pollution and those factors and methods that are used to reduce pollution in the watershed. Just know that your model can be built from any recyclable materials you have around your home. Here is an example of what your project could look like. It has a title card, it has parts labeled, it's also showing the path of pollution. You can use any recyclable materials you have around your home in order to build your watershed. For the path, you could use markers. You could find plastic bottles, toothpicks, any recyclable materials in order to help you make your project. The must-haves. You must create a model that has labels and shows the path of pollution. Remember, your model can be done with everyday materials from around your home, you can create it with the computer, but you must label it and it must show the path of pollution. You must also have a title card and include a fact sheet with 5 facts. Here's some critical thinking questions. What happens to precipitation when it reaches the earth? Why are aquifers and groundwater important to life on Earth? Review the rubric. Again, the rubric is provided for quality student work. Look at all the indicators in each category. Your must-haves are listed along with other supports to help you so that you can do the best quality of student work. On Monday. On Monday, you will research at credible websites the effects of human activity on groundwater and surface water in a watershed. Or you can do this research in your 7th grade science textbook. Listed below are 2 websites that will help you with your research. You can use your computer or your cell phone to access the sites below. Make sure you are taking notes as you do your research. And also make sketches of the models that you come across so that you can construct your own model. Monday checkpoint. Review the project rubric and must-haves. Take notes in your science notebook as you view credible websites and make sketches of your model. This will become very important as you complete your project for this week. Tuesday and Wednesday. On Tuesday and Wednesday, you will build your own watershed. Now that you have a better understanding of where our water comes from and how it reaches the streams, lakes, rivers, and oceans, you will build your own watershed. More detailed instructions on how to build your own watershed can be found in the project-based learning plans for this week. Be sure to read through the materials in advance and also make sure you make observations when you are conducting and building your watershed. Make sure you record your responses to the discussion questions after you have built your watershed. And then also create a sketch labeling the different parts of the watershed. You should be able to utilize your information from your research to help you with your sketches, also with the answers to your questions. Once you complete building your watershed, be sure to take a picture of your model. Again, your model can utilize recyclable materials from around your home in order to provide you with a great model for learning. Tuesday and Wednesday checkpoint. Build your own watershed and ensure that you show the path of pollution. Utilize materials around your home to help you build a watershed, such as toilet tissue rolls, paper towel rolls, water bottles, a cardboard box, newspaper, paper. Any recyclable materials can be used to build your watershed. As you show your path, use markers to show your path of pollution. You can use construction paper to show your path of pollution. You can use anything you can find around your home in order to build your watershed and to show the path of the pollution. You can show different objects also in your watershed by utilizing different things from around your home. Rocks. You can make buildings out of different materials. Be creative. Thursday. On Thursday, you'll create your fact sheet. Now that you've built your own watershed, you will write your facts using your resources from your research. For your fact sheet, you will need to include 5 facts about watersheds and the contributing factors and methods that are used to reduce pollution. Thursday checkpoint. Complete your rough draft of your fact sheet. On Friday, finish your model of your watershed and your fact sheet. As you reread the rough draft of your fact sheet, consider the following questions. What am I trying to say? Have I said it? How does it sound? Is there a smooth flow? Should I add details or examples to support my statements? Are there any spelling or grammatical errors that need to be fixed? Be sure your model of the watershed shows the path of the pollution. Friday checkpoint. Complete your final draft of your fact sheet so that it is ready to be turned in to your teacher. Take a picture of your completed model of the watershed. Turn in both via email, the Hub, or Microsoft Teams. Let's recap your project for 7th grade. You will be building a model to show the path of pollution on groundwater and surface water in a watershed, and you will develop a fact sheet for the general public that will identify factors contributing to water pollution and methods to reduce pollution in the watershed. Remember, you can use any recyclable materials around your home, markers, regular paper, things such as that, in order to build your model. Okay, let's go on to 8th grade. In 8th grade, the learning target for this week is I can demonstrate and predict the sequence of events in the lunar cycle. Here are some guiding questions. How are the sun, moon, and earth related to the lunar cycle? Why does the moon's appearance change throughout the month? Your project for this week. You will create a flip book that shows each moon phase of a complete lunar cycle in order to help you predict the sequence of events in the lunar cycle. The must-haves for your project. You will need 29 pieces of cutout paper, note cards, index cards, or post-it notes with the correctly drawn phases labeled. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why do I need 29 pieces? But in your research, you will find out why you need that many pieces of paper. I will not spoil it for you, but just know you will need 29 pieces of cutout paper, note cards, and post-it notes. And when you are making your drawings for your flip book, make sure that you color them with markers, colored pencils, so that we can see the pictures, so that when you flip through the flip book or someone else flips through the flip book, we can see the animations more vividly. Let's review the rubric. The rubric is provided so that you can have the best quality of student work. The rubric also contains the must-haves for your project. The rubric will provide you guidance so that you can make sure that you are exceeding the standard with your level of work. On Monday, you will research at credible websites the sequence of events in the lunar cycle. You can also do this research in your 8th grade science textbook. Listed below are 2 recommended links to help you with your research. The first link is from National Geographic Kids, and that will discuss the phases of the moon with you. And the second website is from NASA, and that is an activity that will also assist you with your research about the moon phases. Be sure you access these through the computer or your cell phone, and make sure that you're taking notes because you will need these notes later for your project. And sketches will be very important of the moon phases as well. Monday checkpoint. Make sure you review the project rubric and the must-haves for quality student work. Also, While you are doing your research, make sure you take notes in your science notebook and make sketches of the different moon phases. You will need this for your project. On Tuesday, you will complete the phases of the moon gizmo. In order to access the gizmo, you need to go into the Houston Independent School District Hub. Then you will click on More. Then you will click on Digital Resources, click Science, and then you'll see Gizmos. Choose the phases of the moon gizmo from 8th grade Texas Science. Once you select that, click on the Student Exploration Guide under the Lesson Info tab. Complete Activity A and Activity B on a sheet of paper. Here's what you will see. The gizmo is the image that is to the left of your screen. And then down below on the right, you will see the link for the student exploration sheet. Here's a picture of activity A and activity B that you will complete. Launch the gizmo. Once you launch the gizmo, it will help you to be able to answer the questions. Please make sure you write in complete sentences. Writing in complete sentences, especially when you're using your own sheet of paper, will allow you to reference the information later in the lesson as you complete your flipbook. Tuesday checkpoint. Remember to complete the Student Exploration Guide Activity A and Activity B. Be sure to utilize complete sentences, especially if you are writing on a separate sheet of paper, so that you can go back and utilize the information in order to help you to complete your flipbook. Wednesday. On Wednesday, you will be predicting lunar phases. Access the following website on a cell phone or a computer. This is a picture of a calendar. You can print this calendar out. You can draw this calendar on a sheet of paper, or you can feel free to find a digital calendar. On the calendar, you will need to draw a full moon on June the 5th and label it as a full moon. Once you label that as a full moon, then go back and label the other 7 remaining moon phases. Use your notes to help you. Can you predict? Can you tell when the next full moon will occur? There is an acronym that we've used before during the school year. It's called SNEF. SNEF. It stands for Sun, New Moon, Earth, Full Moon. And they always appear in a line, a straight line. You have the Sun, the New Moon, the Earth, and the Full Moon. That'll get you started. And you should be able to label the other 7 remaining moon phases. Wednesday checkpoint. You should complete the lunar cycle calendar. Remember, we gave you June the 5th as the full moon, and then you were to complete the remaining days of the month with the different phases. Don't forget SNEF, SNEF. That will definitely help you complete the lunar cycle calendar. Thursday. On Thursday, you will begin creating your flipbook. You'll begin to create a flipbook that shows each moon phase of the complete lunar cycle. You will draw a moon phase onto each sheet of cutout paper, note card, index cards, or single post-it note. Start by drawing a new moon phase on your first sheet, or note card or post-it note. Draw each moon phase on a different sheet to represent a new day. Draw the moon phase near one of the edges so that it is easy to see when all of the pages are flipped. Remember, you will need 29 sheets of cutout paper, index cards, note cards, or post-it notes in order to complete this activity. Thursday checkpoint. Begin creating your flip book. Remember, you will need 29 pieces of paper, index cards, post-it notes, so that you can create your flip book. By now you should know you need those 29 pieces because a lunar cycle is approximately 28.5 days. So that's why you will need 29 pieces in order to begin creating your flip book. So grab the paper, create your flip book, but you will need all 29 pieces to make sure you have a complete lunar cycle flip book. On Friday, finish your flip book. For each page, draw what the phase would be for the next day. You need only to label the main phases. Remember to utilize your rubric as you complete your product. Use your resources from your notes, the videos, and any activities you've done in order to help you to finish your flip book. Friday checkpoint. Finish your flip book. Once you finish your flip book, take a picture of it. If you did it online, then make sure you save it. Submit your completed flipbook to your teacher via email, the Hub, or Microsoft Teams. Let's recap the project for 8th grade. You will create a flipbook that shows each moon phase of a complete lunar cycle in order to help you predict the sequence of events in the lunar cycle. Okay, for the week of May 11th, 2020, here are the projects for each grade level. For 6th grade, you will be completing an abiotic biotic hanging mobile. Remember, you will need a description and 5 examples for abiotic and biotic. You will also need 5 examples for interactions of abiotic and biotic factors for your mobile. For 7th grade, you will be completing a watershed model and a fact sheet. Remember, for your watershed model, you can use any recyclable materials that you can find around your home. Be creative. You can utilize markers to show the path of pollution. You can use bits of paper to show the path of pollution. You can use water bottles. You can use tissue rolls. You can use any recyclable materials that you can find around your home to complete your watershed model. And for 8th grade, you'll be completing a lunar cycle flip book. Your lunar cycle flip book will need 29 sheets of paper. The lunar cycle is approximately 28.5 days, so you will need all 29 pieces of paper in order to complete a lunar cycle flip book. Please make sure your pictures are colored. This will allow the flipbook animation to be more vivid. For all of your projects, please make sure you review the rubric because the rubric has the must-haves and is a guide for quality student work. Please make sure you take a picture or save your documents so that you can submit those to your teacher. You can submit those through the Hub, through Teams, or through email. Please tune in next week